Hello, crafty people. Welcome back to the Craft Dungeon. Today I am making a special Valentine for my secret Valentine. And in the small corner video, I'm showing how I made this piece basically from a piece of junk mail. So, yeah. I've painted the piece of junk mail, and now I am creating pockets out of scrap paper from one of my paper pads. So I have tried to speed this up a little bit. This is my first time doing a voiceover, and I wasn't entirely sure exactly how this was going to work. So I apologize if there's anything that is kind of screwed up, but I'll try to go back and fix it later if I can. So I'm scoring the edges, three sides of the pieces of paper so that I can, about 1/4 of an inch, so I can fold them and make the pocket have whatever that word is, so it can be a little bit bigger and fit more in there. I can't remember the word. So I'm folding them now and gluing the pockets together to make the pockets, and then I will glue them down to the project. And yeah, this pocket I accidentally made a little too long because measuring is just something that I don't do a lot of unless I just absolutely have to. So I actually go back off camera after this portion of the video and trim off a bit of the pocket and then rescore it and basically make the pocket the correct size. But so that's what I'm working on now. I'm realizing, oh, the stupid pocket's too big, so then I moved on to actually cut that one down to the right size. So I'm taking off the scoring blade, putting on the cutting blade. I'm going to cut it down. Basically each panel of this piece of junk mail was basically postcard size 4x6. So it needed to be obviously less than 4 inches wide. So that's what I'm doing here. And I think I had sped this part up like 200%, and it's still, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to explain things fast enough. So I actually created this during 4 separate video clips last week. I'm just now getting to editing the voiceover on Sunday so that hopefully I can get this well, I don't know if I want to post it yet. It's a secret Valentine swap, so I'm obviously not going to tell who it's for. So I don't think it matters if I post it or not, because the person who is my secret Valentine, which I'm super excited about, will not know who it's coming from. So that pocket is obviously the right size. It fits on a panel perfectly. So this may be, this is where I start kind of looking through my crafty crap that I've collected for this project. I kind of had a pile of things that I thought I might use. So I was making sure a journaling card would actually fit in the pocket, which probably would have been a better plan before I made the pocket, but hey, it worked out because it fit perfectly. So I'm not entirely sure why the webcam keeps flickering. I think that I had it set on auto balance or something, and so it keeps adjusting the brightness. So it'll take me a little bit to kind of get used to that and how to set the settings right in OBS to get it to stop doing stupid stuff like that. So I apologize for the video quality. So here I have a piece of embossed paper that I had received in a Happy Mail quite a while ago. I don't remember who from, but it's embossed with hearts. So I decided I wanted to watercolor it. I thought that would look really cool with the embossing. It is not watercolor paper, it's just cardstock. So there was a piece of it that got a part of it where it already had kind of ripped and it got a little extra wet, and then it kind of got flimsy, so I corrected that later and just taped the back. This ends up being used as a tuck spot in my little, I guess I'm going to call it a mini journal, a mini junk journal. So I'm using Jane Davenport's watercolors. I think I'm not sure what set it is. It is the kind of aqua blue colored tin. It might be Brights. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm basically just throwing color on, and you can see where it really brings out the embossing. So I like that. Probably could have used a bigger brush to kind of get more of that fluffy look. So I've got too many dab spots there, I guess. So yeah, I have recently received my webcam and my boom stand, and I got all of that set up. And then after I did that, I got it set up in a way that it would work, but that wasn't really what I wanted, so I had to modify my area just a little bit. I've got this ledge that runs along my back wall. So when I attached the boom stand to the back of my table, not only did I have to pull my table out another 3, 4, 5 inches from the wall, which I don't like because I like to line stuff on the back of my table, and I have the wall there to keep it from falling off, but once I had to pull the table out that much further, I was going to have trouble setting stuff back there. And also, I was going to have trouble with the springs in the boom stand making noise every time I did anything on my table. So, and I also didn't feel like the height was there. So this video was recorded using the old setup. The next couple of videos that have been recorded will be since I modified my setup so that I could move the stand up actually to the ledge. I took a piece of fence picket board that I have an entirely huge stack of, and actually used command strips to hold it down to my ledge so that I could clamp my boom stand onto that over my table instead of on my table, so it works much better. So here the watercolor is dry. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put that as a tuck spot. So obviously I was trying to decide if I wanted to make it a flippy or a flappy, and I end up making it a tuck spot. That is some pattern, some sewing pattern, and I decided to just kind of tear that and use that as some background on one of the panels. So I'm working at tearing that down and making it the right size so that it'll fit. Clearly it takes me a little bit of time to figure out what works here and what doesn't. And I decided, I think, yeah, that I'm going to attach this with matte medium because I didn't want the hard kind of glossy look of Mod Podge. And that was probably a little too much matte medium for sewing pattern, because sewing pattern is pretty darn thin. So there I'm putting matte medium on, and I love matte medium. By the way, if I could find some cheaper matte medium or figure out how to make it myself rather than paying Liquitex prices, I would use it more, but I use it very cautiously because I want to make it last as long as possible. So most of the time I use Mod Podge because I've kind of figured out that most everything I do on top of Mod Podge still works okay, even though it kind of leaves that, even the matte Mod Podge leaves that kind of glossy sheen, and I don't always like that, but sometimes I just have kind of learned to be okay with it. I think I was a little too forceful here because I did tear a hole, and I was like, dang it, it irritated me, but I fixed it later. So basically the matte medium just soaks right through the sewing pattern since it's so thin, which is fine. So there, I'm drying it a little bit. Excuse my nose. And then I'm trying to kind of get the watercolor drier. I guess it wasn't completely dry yet. Sorry about that. I'm drinking coffee while I'm recording here, so now I'm going through my crafty crap pile again and kind of trying to decide what I'm gonna do next. And I'm pretty sure I already got the video completely edited because I wanted to get all that done first and get things clipped out. There were several times where I was during this project that I would hit record and just kind of start working and then squirrel and oh yeah, I was showing the video that yes, the packaging that those doilies came in was really cool, so I was going to keep it to alter for later. So yeah, there were a lot of times where I would sit there and like text people or respond to messages or look at Facebook. So I'm pretty sure I got all that cut out. I wanted to get it cut out and get the video done before I actually did the voice recording. That way I wouldn't have to go back and try to delete parts later and then have the audio line up correctly. So we'll see how well this works. I'm still learning and learning and learning every day how to use Premiere. The great thing about the internet is that you can pretty much look up anything you need to look up and it'll give you the information you need. So I love the ability to say, hey, how do I do voiceovers, or how do I change the speed, or how do I change the size of a video overlay, and I can pretty much find a video and just find out exactly what it is I need to do without reading a whole book or trying to search through a book for the instructions. So I think maybe it might be a good time in my life to tackle learning how to use Photoshop better. I think I mainly just want to use it to maybe alter existing images, maybe remove backgrounds or change some things that I can change in PNG files or something like that. And that shouldn't be too complicated, so I could probably learn how to use it the same way I've been learning how to use Premiere Pro. And I think I've mentioned before, I don't know if I've mentioned on video before, Premiere Pro is not cheap. You have to subscribe to Adobe's Creative Cloud in order to have access to Adobe programs. You can't, I think pretty sure they do not any longer allow the ability to just buy one program. You subscribe to the Creative Cloud, you get access to all of their creative programs. It's a monthly fee. So, I mean, you don't have to sign up for a certain term. If you don't pay 1 month, you just don't have access that month. So we already pay for it because we use it for other things. Oh my gosh, my phone is just going crazy. We use it for other things as well, and so even though the program was very daunting at first and scary, I decided to go ahead and use it since we already pay for it. So I know some people use Filmora. I know Filmora is good, and I just didn't see any reason to pay for another piece of software when I already had access to something. So what I did there is I I always want to call it Mod Podge. I Mod Podged half the doily to the inside of the panel, and then the other half I'm going to eventually I'm going to fold over and Mod Podge to the outside. So now I'm actually gluing my pockets in place that I've created. I am using the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue for this. I do like it because it's got a relatively precise fine tip on one end. I hate using liquid glue for things that are detailed because I never can feel like that I get it exactly where it's supposed to be and that it's all over the place. So aside from me going out and buying needle-tipped bottles like some people do and watering down my Aleenes and putting in there, I think this works well enough for me. I've been able to glue down some fairly detailed stuff with this, and it dries clear. So usually if I mess up a little bit, when I get it down on the page, I'll just go over it with a baby wipe and kind of wipe off the excess. So I used, on the other pocket, I put it up a little bit, just a little bit higher, just to add a little more interest rather than just having them perfectly lined up. Also, I wanted to cover up the tear that I created in the sewing pattern. Worked out well for that. So my whole idea was really to make this video shorter, but I wasn't able to get it much shorter, so it's still around an hour. I gotta learn how to make shorter videos. Maybe I should have sped it up to like 400%. I think what I'm doing here is I still didn't have a great, I was still off frame for some of the stuff I was doing. I think I've got better viewing frame now, but I was cutting out some stuff from a graphics 45 pack that I have, and there it's like a seasons pack, and so there's a sheet of pattern paper and then a sheet of ephemera for each month of the year, and this is February's stuff, and I love it. I love graphic 45. I would like to own all of their stuff. My goal this year is to buy some of their collections. They've got some new stuff out that they've sneak peeked this year already. I think Kaleidoscope might be what one of them is called. That's super bright colors, and I love it. Actually, everything that's coming out, I love. I have one set of 12 by 12 paper and one set of tags and pockets, and I think it's the Enchanted Forest is what it's called, and I love it as well. I don't really need 12 by 12 paper because I don't scrapbook anymore. I don't traditionally scrapbook anymore, so I can probably save a little bit of space and a little bit of money by buying 8 by 8 pads, and I wish that they made 6 by 6, but that's okay. So here I'm fixing where that tore on the back with some washi tape. It's really not a big deal because it's going to be a tuck spot, so nobody's going to see the back side anyway. And I think this is where I'm fighting with this washi tape. It pulled off the layer behind it with the piece on top. I was having a really hard time. That's probably some of the washi tape that I've had the longest, and I think after a while the adhesive might start to soak through the paper of the washi tape, and so then it was sticking to the next layer on the roll and making it very difficult to get off. So I will probably sit here and voice over this whole video, which I'm kind of scared to stop and start again because I'm afraid I won't be able to get the get it lined back up. The sound I don't know, to come back in right. It gives me like a 3-second pre-roll, so it will go 3 seconds back in the video. And I forgot that it was going to do that when I started it. Like I knew it was going to do it, but I forgot that it was going to put the video 3 seconds back. So I got a little confused this time and hope my intro turned out okay and didn't get cut off at all. So I'm kind of afraid to stop and come back because then I'm scared I'll have issues again. Yeah, in this video, this must be auto-correcting the light or something. I don't like it. Make sure that gets turned off. Whatever is happening. So now I am putting glue on 2 sides of my piece. I've decided it's going to be a tuck spot. And I'm trying my very best to line it up perfectly. You know how that goes. Lining things up perfectly is not my forte. So I think the plan here is that I'm going to go back. Oh, I just rubbed some distress ink. Yeah, I love kind of how that turned out. I just rubbed a little bit of distress ink randomly to kind of pull out some of that emboss. And that's where the idea is forming in my head to fold that over to the other side. Making sure all my glue is doing its job. And so this is where I decide that I'm going to add some washi, more for looks than anything. The glue is holding it down, but I wanted some more interest. This is the piece of washi tape that was all screwed up. I actually go back later and put a whole fresh piece on top of this to cover up that little sliver down at the bottom of the screen that's extra tape that I could not get apart. I couldn't get it off of there. And this was all I was just going with the flow. I didn't really have it planned out. I wasn't really entirely sure how this was going to turn out. Definitely one of those on the fly projects. I'm not very confident with on the fly projects because I feel like I get distracted easily or just don't really know what I'm gonna do, and then I just sit there and stare at things. And I don't know if any of the rest of you have that problem, but I definitely have that problem. So I've tried a million times to figure out what I was going to do with those pieces that I cut out. So there I'm trying to figure out, do I like it anywhere? Does it fit the kind of theme I'm going for? And I decide, nope, not yet. So I'm just trying to hurry along the dry process of the Mod Podge. I mean, honestly, I like how Mod Podge sounds better anyway than Mod Podge, but I should be using correct terminology. So, yeah, there I'm doing the folding just to make sure everything still folds closed. So I think, yeah, I'm getting ready to Mod Podge the other side on. So I went ahead and put some wax paper there as I closed it. That way the tacky Mod Podge on the inside wouldn't stick to anything and ruin it. So now I'm going to, yeah, every time I open the bottle, I have to like wipe the crumbs off because I always have little crumbs everywhere, and I usually open it over the trash can just for that reason. And this is not name brand, whatever, Mod Podge brand. Mod Podge is a decoupage medium. I probably picked it up at Michael's or something, or Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago, but I have a gallon of actual certified Mod Podge sitting here ready to go. So as soon as I get through this, which I think it works fine, I'm hoping maybe that the matte Mod Podge will work even, like be even a little more matte than the matte of this off-brand, whatever it is. But it was cheaper, and so at the time I bought it because it was cheaper, for sure. So I don't think I talked about the back side, but this is the outside of the, or at least two panels of the outside of the journal. I used pattern paper out of one of my sets, and I don't remember the name of the set. I could look it up real quick, or look for it real quick. It was the I don't think it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. It was the Printery collection. It's Prima. So the Prima Printery collection. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, maybe. I like the 6x6 paper pads. I've started quite a large collection, not large, but I'm getting more and more of it, especially when it goes on sale at Michael's. I will buy pretty much all of the 6x6 hot buy paper pads when they go on sale for $5. I like the 6x6 paper because most of what I do, I don't need bigger, and I've still got tons of 12x12 paper as well. So I kind of have a mix of both. And yeah, here I'm trying to decide what to do with the heart. So that kind of shows how it looks when it's folded once. And then I'm looking through my trims that I got out for this project to kind of see where I want to put those and how I want that to work. Yeah, and I decided that was too wide. I didn't like how that looked at all. I think I liked that one the best. Yeah, so there I was just trying to decide what I was going to do there. Just hold on to your butts. I'm pretty sure I decide here at some point, but it's hard telling. Yeah, I gave that a thumbs up, and I think I didn't even end up doing that. So that's funny because I must have come back to it again at another time because that's not what I ended up doing with that heart. That would have been a cute idea though, but I did something else that was still super cute. So it's okay. We'll get over it. We will get over it. So I'm still trying to decide what to do with this heart. I've got some flatbacks that I picked up last year, I think. I was kind of trying to decide, did I want to glue some flatbacks down? I've got some confetti. Did I want to do something with that? And then I think this comes to a point where I kind of sit there and stare at it a minute. Yeah. What do I want to do? Tapping the fingers. Tap, tap, tap. Yep. And then I'm coming back later. I must have stopped and went on to do something and come back to it. So now I'm looking at other things. Some stickers that I've had for a while. I've got some felt and whatever that word is, holographic hearts. I picked those up, I think, from the Target One spot last year. They're so cute. Still trying to decide. It's things like this that I have trouble with. I'm trying and trying and trying to decide where I want to put things, how I want to lay it out, and I just have a real hard time with it. And then I think once it finally clicks for me, then I'm doing okay. But so now I'm taking some red stamp close to my heart ink. I'm getting ready to ink around the edges, but I caught a piece that needed trimmed off, where I didn't get my paper glued down exactly straight. So I'm trimming off the crap edge, and I'm doing it off frame, or out of whatever frame, out of frame. So I had to get that fixed before I could ink the edges. Obviously, I've had my journal cards tucked in those pockets now. So I'm taking red ink and inking around the edges. I am so happy that most of that close to my heart ink actually still works. I've had it for years and years and years. I store them upside down to kind of keep the ink from settling at the bottom of the ink pad. And I guess once these start dying, I'll just start replacing them with something else. But that's pretty much all my colored ink is the old Close to My Heart, and I've got some Stampin' Up! Still too ink, which there's nothing wrong with either one of those inks. They're good inks. Obviously, if they've lasted this long, I have nothing bad to say about them. I think the pigment's good, and they've always worked well for me. So I am still trying to decide what to do with some of this other stuff. So this little kitty cat is a piece that I'd cut out of a greeting card. So I'm cleaning up some of her edges a little bit so that she fits in the tuck spot better, and it was kind of just wasted edge that I didn't fussy cut off. So once the little kitten comes back into frame, you can actually see what she looks like. There we go. She's working on it. Get her back in there. Come on. Yeah. So the plan is to tuck her in there. So I'm deciding what I want to do to make her pop a little bit more. So I get out my Wink of Stella pin, and I am going to make the hearts glittery. The Wink of Stella pins are pretty cool. I'd like to get more of them. I know they were really super popular when they first came out, and then I've not heard anything about them much lately, but it's pretty much just a clear, this one is clear. I don't remember what it's called. Wink of Stella brush. I know this is just a clear. So it's a brush pen, and there's basically glitter in it. There's some different, you can get different colors. And it just works really nice. It just adds some glitter detail. It's not a gel pen, it's a liquid. I don't think it's really paint either. I don't know how to explain Wink of Stella, but you can look it up. I think, I don't even remember who makes it. Zig, maybe? I can't even tell on my pin who the manufacturer is. I thought it was Zig, but I could be wrong. Yep, it is Zig. Zig Memory System makes the Wink of Stella. And then there's a Wink of Stella, and then there's another one. I don't remember what it's called. So there I am again, trying to figure out what I want to do with those little graphic 45 things that I cut out. Still haven't figured that out yet, obviously, because I'm still screwing with them, trying to figure it out. We'll move on shortly, I promise. I know, this is painful, isn't it? I think I'm feeling like that the style of the graphic 45 just doesn't really fit in with the rest of it. I think as much as I tried to make it vintagey, that it's actually a little more, the style that I have in here is a little more eclectic, so it's a little more whimsical. And so I think I felt like the graphic 45 was a little too formal maybe for it. So I end up using this heart sticker. It had like a rhinestone in the middle that at some point had come off and then restuck itself down. So it was all off center, so I pulled it off. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back of it and fix it. And I probably used the wrong kind of glue. I probably should have used the other Tombow glue that I have. I used the Aqua. I probably should have used the multi liquid glue. So I had a little bit of trouble. I think I had a little too much glue on the gem, and then I had a little bit of trouble getting it in the place I wanted. So I think I dink around with this for a few minutes trying to get it. I used my little pick-me-up tool. The one I have is actually a Silhouette brand pick-me-up tool. It's basically got what I call poster tacky or tacky in the end. And when you kind of screw the little cap, it squeezes more tacky through. Well, it actually left tacky stuck to my gem, so I had to scrape that off. I think there's some better little pick-me-up tools I could get. I don't know that I love this one. I know it's made for weeding, probably vinyl. that you cut out of the silhouette, which is basically, it's a die cutting machine that connects to your computer just like the Cricut. That was a must when I used to get my nails done, because I used to get acrylic tips and I got tired of not being able to pick anything up when I had my nails done and I was trying to craft. So I bought the pick me up tool so I could pick up my smaller pieces, my gems, and my smaller pieces of ephemera. So that was the main reason why I got it. Those acrylic tips are so thick you can't get them under anything that's thin, or at least I never could figure it out. But I stopped getting my nails done because I usually end up getting paint on them and everything else anyway. So these are the felt hearts that I'm kind of trying to decide how I want to use them. So I pick out some little ones and decide that I'm going to glue them down on the pockets. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm gluing them down onto the pockets. Here I am using my tweezers to hold the heart while I put the glue on it so that I can place it. My fingers sometimes just don't work very, and I was like, dang it, I dropped it anyway, stupid thing. It just works better for me to use tweezers to do stuff like that. I feel like my fingers just don't mind very well, and sometimes they're shaky, and they're just, I think my fine motor skills kind of suck. So it's a lot easier for me to use those tweezers sometimes to add glue to smaller things and then place them right where I want to. So that's why I have those out. And so my kitty cat has glitter in her. Her hearts are glittered now. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm trying to figure out if I want to put something on the back of her. And I think I just settled on a little sticker, because you could write on the back if my secret Valentine actually wants to use this to write little things down on. I know that I go through this with journals and watch people make journals with journaling cards in them and places to journal, and I know for me it's so hard for me to actually use the journal. So I can make the journals all day long and collect the journals all day long, but do I actually write in them? Not as often as I had hoped I would, I guess. I don't know what's going on here. I must be doing something with the cat. I think might be where I'm finding a sticker for her. Obviously, I didn't get this dead spot edited out of the video, so you just get to look at my beautiful workspace and listen to me talk. There we go. And I apologize, I've still got some leftovers of the crud and a runny nose, and so my voice is still a little witch-like. That's fine. I'm kind of witchy anyway, I don't mind. So yeah, I just ended up putting a little glittery heart sticker there, and then I work on sticking her in the tuck spot, maybe? No, I'm looking for more stickers. So now I am trying to find out if there's any stickers. I'm trying to figure out, yeah, I found one that fits perfectly, and there I am trying to line it up, and there's my messy hair. I usually come home and just throw my hair up in a bun or a ponytail, so I'm sure this was one evening session this week after work. Yeah, now I'm sticking the kitten in her tuck spot. I'm like, why can't I get her in there? I know there's enough space, and there we go. And I finally got her in there the way I wanted her, And so the sticker says something about love fully, laugh often, and love deeply is what the sticker says. This might be where I'm fixing the tape. I don't know what I'm doing here. Tell me what you're doing. Yes, dinking with tape. I don't know if this is where I decide to cover this piece up. I think this is where I decide to maybe, yeah, I was trying to fix it there. I was like, that looks so terrible. I don't like it. Yeah, I'm fixing it. So I'm running glue stick across it real quick just so it will stay stuck well, since I've layered like 3 pieces of tape on top of each other now. So I want to make sure it's not going anywhere. And as usual, I'm fighting to get it lined up right. And I'm trying to find my, oh, I find my scissors. I was probably trying to find my, yeah, my card so I could rip it. There we go. I use like an old gift card. I keep all of my old plasticky cards either for paint scraping, which I've obviously used that one for a lot, or for making a straight tear of washi tape. Alright, so now I'm looking at the outside, and I'm thinking that I probably need to reinforce the edges. So I pick out some washi, and I'm going to go ahead and washi where the folds are. That way they're reinforced a little bit depending on how much my Secret Valentine opens and closes it. I don't want them to tear apart. So I'm going to use glue stick first so that the tape sticks, and I picked out a nice wide tape so that it would cover the fold, the crease, or whatever you want to call it, well, and then still have a little bit of tape on each side of the fold to give it more stability. Gosh, if this is already sped up to 150%, imagine watching this at its original speed. I probably could have sped it up more, but that's okay. We will get through it. Not sure. I must have been trimming off some excess tape there. Yeah, probably. So I try really hard to line it up correctly on both sides so that I don't have to trim any off, because I'm terrible at trying to trim off little short bits of overhang. So, yep, I'm just repeating the same thing again for the next 2 folds. Glue stick and then tape. I'm just using my little Mod Podge scraper to kind of, that's crooked. Do I fix that? Yeah, I fix it. Have I mentioned that lining things up is not my strong point? There we go. And then it looks like I've got to do some more trimming no matter how hard I try. And it looks like by the time that I got to this recording session, I had fixed whatever that problem was that kept making the camera shift or whatever. change saturation or change brightness. I must have turned off auto something. The one thing I don't like about the new camera is that the settings don't stay, so they don't stay through the Logitech capture software. So every time you use it, you have to go in and adjust everything again. And it's the same way in OBS. I was hoping that maybe OBS would save the settings as well, and maybe it will, and I just haven't figured it out. But every time I go into turn OBS on to do a recording, it defaults to autofocus, which I always have to go in and shut off, and then I have started adjusting. I think I adjusted the color saturation just a little bit, maybe the white balance, and then I always have to double check that my zoom and everything is correct. But I wish that it would save those settings, because my camera is pretty much semi-permanently mounted. I mean, it can be taken down, but there's no reason to, so I just kind of leave it there. It's not in my way or anything. So here I'm dinking with trim again. I think I finally decided which one I want and where I want it. So I am going to put that down. And I think this is going to be like the front of the little journal. So yeah, I used a binder clip just to kind of keep it from flat so that I could get that secured down straight. And then I'm going to use another little binder clip just to hold one end down so that I don't have to sit there and fight with it the whole time. Any help I can get. So I think I decided here that instead of trying to use wet glue, which probably would have worked just fine, but I hate wet glue, I still had some magic tape left. This is super old magic tape. It still works, and I used to use it a lot for vellum when it was still not old and yellowed. This magic tape has actually started turning a little yellow. So yeah, but it's still very sticky. And for something like this where I just have like a strip of ribbon or something that I trim or something that I want to put down, it works really well for that. And I don't have to get out my liquid glue and get all messy. So basically you just put it down and then you peel off the backing and then you stick down whatever you want to it. I need to buy a bunch of this in bulk. I think I want to go ahead and buy some double-sided tape. I think I decided I'm going to buy it from China off eBay. So a lot of people buy it that way, and that way I can get a couple different widths and several rolls of each for fairly cheap. A lot of people say it works well, so I don't mind using double-sided tape. I usually can't get glue stick to work too well for me. I am trying the Avery glue stick. I think somebody had mentioned that they like the Avery. So I found it at Hobby Lobby and I'm trying it. The Elmer's Craft Bond glue stick doesn't work that well for me, and I haven't had any luck with the glue sticks from Dollar Tree either. I know some people like those a lot and they don't really hold anything for me, so here I'm just kind of going back over what I've got in there. Okay, making sure everything slides in and out of the pockets easily. I think I'm trying to decide, yeah, if I want to put anything there or not. And then I'm trying to decide what I want to do on my front cover as well. So now I'm flipping through. I didn't know if I wanted to do any flips or kind of tape any extra pages in there, but there was a lot of that kind of scrap paper that I wanted to use. So I just decided to fill the back of that pocket with the little scraps so that my secret Valentine can use them as she pleases. And I actually think it looks really cool when it's closed because they kind of stick out a little bit, so it makes it look more stuffed with stuff. So I kind of spread them out a little bit so you could see all the different little scraps. I thought that turned out cute. I like how that looks. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to add those two or just leave them out. And I think I went ahead and just stuffed that in there too. So there's 2 journaling cards in that one pocket. And that's kind of the reason why you want to, oh, I almost had that word in my head. Not facet. What's the word? The word where you fold the little edges of the pockets so you make them where they can hold more. I can't remember the word. Gusset. That's why you gusset the pockets. I think that's the word. So anyway, that's a good reason why to gusset them, because then they can hold a little bit more rather than just taking a flat piece of paper and attaching it on 3 sides. You won't be able to fit, you'll be able to fit 1 piece of paper in there if you do that, and that's about it. So I'm still trying to decide what to do with this heart here. So this is me figuring that out. And then I'm looking at the heart going, what do I want to do with this? So it's a die cut. It looks like there's already stitch holes poked out around the edges. So I wanted to do something more with it, but I didn't want to take a ton more time doing something more with it. So yeah, it's obviously, this is one of those places where I just stare at something. I'm not real good at on the fly. It takes me a while sometimes. There's a lot of rubbing and finger tapping, and my brain is trying to work. It's real hard. So I think I decided I was gonna, there's like a little embossed line, and I'm going to kind of outline that with some gold Posca paint pen. This is probably another place where I definitely could have sped this up, because nobody probably wants to watch that. But the good thing about it is that, you know, if you're like me, sometimes you watch videos while you're doing other things like ironing or cooking dinner or laying in bed or laying on the couch. And so, you know, it's times like this when you can kind of look away and do something, and or just fast forward through the video. YouTube allows you to do that, so please feel free to move to the next point of interest. So yeah, like I said, I'm going over this with some gold paint pen, just to add a little bit of interest. I thought at one point that I might try flocking the heart. I have some red and some pink flocking, and I've never really worked with flocking before, but I think it gives it like a 3-dimensional fuzzy effect. And I believe I would attach it with glue, but I'm not even sure because I've never used it before. But I got it in a bundle of embossing powder. I got some flocking and some glitter, and I've never really used the flocking, so I decided not to do that because I didn't know. It was a pretty big heart to try to flock. So I do that, and then I go over the edges with some black ink. It's Distress ink. You know, I'm still not sure what difference Distress ink makes versus regular ink when it comes to edging. I don't know if it's just easier to use because it's in the square ink pads where the lid comes all the way off, or, I mean, I don't know what the benefit is, I guess, to using Distress ink for edges versus just regular ink. Because I use just regular old red ink around the edges of the little journal, and I don't think it looks any better or worse than the Distress ink. So I guess unless I wanted to do something with water on the Distress ink after I edged it, I don't know that it makes a difference which one I use. But I just know most people do they edge their project with the Distress ink. And so I'm just saying, if anybody knows what difference it makes, please let me know, because I like to learn. So yeah, I'm getting ready to glue this down. I think I've decided here. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. I'm putting a binder clip on there to make it lay more flat so that I can work with it. And I've decided that I'm not going to try to glue down the lace. I'm just going to put glue on the heart, and the glue will go through the lace at the bottom of the heart and hold it all down, together. I think I put just a tad of glue stick here to kind of hold the lace in place while I'm placing the heart so that it doesn't slide around. So that's all that's there for. And then I'm going to glue my heart down. Off frame again, of course. I'm hoping that the next couple of videos will be better because my camera is at a better height and a better angle now. So yeah, just getting my glue to let me see what else I'm doing. Trying to decide what I want to do as my little focal point to the front cover now. So I'm putting my binder clip back on, excuse me, to keep it as flat as possible so that I can work with it. And I think, yeah, I'm putting some stuff away. I've decided I'm not going to use those. Sometimes I get kind of OCD and I have to kind of clean things up. I don't know if I feel like that's going to help me think better. I believe I am off fetching some ideas for my cover. So I'm going to come back any minute with my decided upon piece, I hope. Unless this is one of those spots, which it could be, where I completely forgot to edit out dead space. So who knows? I could have walked off for 20 minutes, used the bathroom, got a drink, because this is kind of how I recorded this. So I cut a bunch out where I didn't stop the recording, where I'd go do what I needed to do and then come back. And because I still wanted to document what I was doing, but I didn't want to be formal about it. So if a kid came in and interrupted me, or the dog interrupted me, or the husband needed me, I could just get up and leave and then come back and start recording again. So I like doing that, but I also then have to go back and do the voiceover. So it really takes double the time. Yeah, good, I'm back. It wasn't a 20-minute bathroom break. That was one of the die cuts that I've recently cut out on my Cricut machine. So I decided that I wanted to use that, and I thought it fit perfectly. There, I moved my lamp over, so now you can see it reflecting off the mat there. And then I move it back over a little bit because I don't like how much it's reflecting. So I decide here that I'm gonna paint these because they were just cut out of, this is, I had a video up a while ago when I was showing everybody all my die cuts. So I'm just using a bunch of old crappy cardstock that I don't necessarily like the colors of, or that I have too much of. And so everything was cut out of either like brownish red or baby puke green or, brown. So I decide that I'm going to paint these a metallic red. And I don't gesso them first. So it's not a super bright red. It just comes out kind of metallic-y. It ends up being pretty. I think I ended up doing a couple coats of the red just to kind of get good coverage. So I could have sped this up quite a bit more as well. Do 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 do. So let's see. I recorded this video throughout last week, and today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day, so my husband and I do not have to work, and the kids are out of school. So we get an extra day at home, which is super nice. I still need to work on my 52-week tags challenge today because I haven't gotten week 3 done yet. So I need to get that done before week 4 is posted. And I don't know what else I'm going to do today. There's lots of things I'd like to do. I'd like to log in and play some more Elder Scrolls Online. I played yesterday with my friends in my guild, and we had a great time. It was fun. They're really relaxed and laid back, and I love them to death. Because if I play once a month, that's fine. And sometimes I only have time to play once a month, so I can get on and I can play even if I've forgotten everything, and just hang out and chat in Discord and still get some stuff done in the game. And then I can log off, and if I don't have time to come back for a month, then I don't have time to come back for a month. But I still talk to them in Discord, even if I'm not playing, so they're great people. Most of them are from the UK, so I like them. I like hanging out with them, talking to them, whatever. So I might log in and do some more of that today. Elder Scrolls Online I know I'm a gamer. There's probably one other person in the world that might have any clue what I'm talking about when they watch my video. But so I have I bought the expansion for that game that comes out in June because it looks really cool, but I don't get a lot of time to play. So any games that I do play, they need to be casual because I may only play once in a great while. So it's a fun game. There's a lot to do in it, and it's just pretty laid back, so it's nice. So I've dried it. There's my little red metallic birds. And, the paint's not perfect. It's not perfect coverage, but it's supposed to look kind of rough, I guess. Grungy, maybe, would be the word. So then I decide that I cut some of this out. But basically, I am using the white paint pen to color the branch that they're sitting on white instead of the brown. And I had already done some of it there, and I think I came back and cut some of this out because it takes me a while to color this. So it was just regular cardstock. So one of the things too, if you kind of keep going over the same area with the paint pen, it's paint, so it might start kind of tearing some of the paper a little bit, so you got to be careful. It's obviously better to let it completely dry in between coats. I'm impatient. Also, the Posca paint pens do not take very long to dry at all. So it's not like you're waiting for 30 minutes. But I'm still impatient. So I'm basically coloring it and then going right back over it again. So I had a few spots where some of the paper tore. And I think I was actually going to go back and do some detail to these birds, like maybe paint in some little wings. I don't think I actually did that, but that's okay. So there you see my beautiful messy hair again. And part of my glasses. Yep, still painting the branch. This is definitely, this is a learning process for me. Luckily for you, you can fast forward through things because YouTube is nice enough to give you that ability. I had already cut out quite a bit of this video, so I guess, dead spaces. So I probably could have sped up. I wasn't sure how fast to speed it up. And the whole thing is actually at 150%. So I probably could have sped it up to like 200% at least and been okay. But now I know for next time. So it's all good. And I've talked about in the past how, I don't post videos on YouTube in the hopes of getting like 1 million subscribers and making money off of it. And it's fine when people do that. There are people out there legitimately that are very good at art and what they do, or even if it's not art, and this is, YouTube is part of their income. And I have the utmost respect for people that do that. Me, I don't. Like I've said before, I do this to meet new people and make friends and share, hopefully, inspiration. And I've already met some new great people. And, I like it when you guys comment so that I can comment back. And I like knowing when some of you have channels so I can come back and watch your videos and get inspiration from you. And this is all a social thing for me and a creative outlet, because I can't sit here, and as supportive as my husband is, he would get bored to death if I sat here and told him all about this art that I do. Oh, look at what I did here, and look how I did this, and look at what I used here, and he doesn't appreciate it like the crafty world does. So most of the time it's an outlet for me to sit here and yak about crafting to people that listen and want to hear it, and it gets it out of my system so that I'm not trying to yak to my husband about it. So yeah, I'm not here to be a professional video maker. I'm not here to be a professional artist. I'm not here, to professionally edit things so that my YouTube channel is successful. Successful to me is reaching out to, even a small handful of people that if you can find one thing that inspires you to go make something and go play, then do it. That's great. And say hi, because I'd like to meet you. But other than that, I'm not here to make money. I already have a soul-sucking job that that allows me to do that. So, and it's really not soul-sucking. My job is actually pretty good. I'm pretty lucky to have the job that I have, but everybody kind of goes through the I don't really want to go to work. I'd rather stay home and craft thing. So here I'm gluing it down to the cover, and that's where the Tombow precision tip comes in handy, just because I had some, the branch and the little feathers on top of the birds' heads to kind of glue down. So there, I'm kind of wiping my fingers off, and then I'm going around and getting any of the excess glue off so that I don't have sticky spots. One thing about the Tombow glue is it's definitely sticky, which is a good thing. You want it to be. So you want to make sure that you get it wiped off, any excess wiped off. So yeah, I bet you guys are glad this video is almost over. So yeah, I'm glad because I'm tired of talking. So yeah. So now I'm showing you, this is my finished cover. I think it looks super cute. That's the back cover. You open it once and those are those pages. You open it again and then that's the inside. And that is my secret Valentine project. And I hope you enjoyed watching. And I will talk to everyone soon.